The poster that I created completely conforms to conventions of real media products. This is because of the shot type and image chosen. I used a medium close-up of the villain, Chelsea, so that her facial expressions and the physical state of her were incredibly clear. When carrying out research for the poster, I found that it is most often the villain that is displayed on the poster, and also that the makeup and lighting is used to manipulate the way that they look in order to make them appear more terrifying. As the poster is a piece of advertising, it is important that a stock character is used in order to convey the horror genre. By using the stock character of a villain, I have immediately attracted pre-existing fans of horror just because my poster meets the conventions of this genre. For my poster, I used white face paint and dark eyeshadow under the actress's eyes. This was so that it created an eerie impression of her and so that she looked distressed and supernatural. I also used black eyeliner and dark eyeshadow and fake blood to create the stitched lips effect. This will add to the horror and enigma that is created by the poster and so will terrify the audience. This is a conventional thing to do because the poster is designed to entice the audience and build up a sense of curiosity for them. This helped to communicate the narrative of the film because the idea of silent screams has connotations of pain and suffering. This will make the audience wonder what pain Chelsea will be put through. In one of the posters that I initially analysed, I saw that an object of significance was part of the maison scene included. Because of the relevance that the prop of the necklace plays in the trailer, I decided to include it in my poster. I included it in the foreground and in the centre of the bottom of the poster. This was conventional because it does not detract attention from the actress, the focus of the poster, yet it is in a significant place and so will not be missed by the audience. This links in with the trailer and how Chelsea is attached to this prop. It suggests that she has complete control over the victims. This is something that I have found in other posters. The Annabelle poster uses the prop of the doll in the foreground in order to suggest that she is the main entity causing trouble. This is similar to the necklace in my poster because of the way it keeps appearing in the trailer. By having a significant prop in the poster, it creates an enigma for the audience and will make them question the power that the item has. This is typical of posters because they are a text used for advertising, meaning that it is important to create enigmas for the audience to entice them and encourage them to see the film. This poses questions such as, what suffering will the necklace cause and who will Chelsea target with it? The text on my poster is also incredibly conventional. In every poster that I studied, the largest piece of text is the title of the film. I have put this in the centre of my poster and I have changed the colour of it to separate it from all of the other text. This is conventional because it means that the title sticks with the audience and it does not compete with other pieces of text on the poster. I also added a black shadow behind the red text in order to make it stand out further. The title of the film is the most important piece of text on a poster because the audience can carry out their own research into this. If they were to search the film on the internet, they would then come across the website for the film and would be able to watch the trailer. This would impact the film because more people will be showing an interest and the campaign will have been a success. Below this, I had the release date of the film. This was in white, like the rest of the text, to suggest that it is less important than the title of the film. However, it is the next most important piece of information on the poster. By having this positioned immediately below the title, the white of this contrasts the red and black of the title of the film, making it stand out in its own right. At the very top of the page, I have my tagline in a slightly smaller size. The word never is also in red to emphasise its importance. This is conventional because in posters for films such as The Redwood Massacre and Sinister, having the tagline at the top allows for the focus of the poster to still be the villain, however having it at the top means that it is one of the first things that the audience will read. This means that it will stick with the audience and create an enigma for them and make them curious as to what the villain is capable of. This is also conventional because people will usually read from top to bottom of a page, meaning that it will not be missed by the target audience. All film posters have the credit block at the bottom. This is because it is not important to the audience or in terms of advertising, however the creators are able to be credited for their contribution to the product. This conforms to the conventions of a film because the cast and crew used were all unknown. This means that it was important to include this information throughout because they may be recognised by other companies because they may be recognised by other companies and used for films in the future. My website conforms to the conventions of a horror site. This is because of how the first page to load is the homepage, which then has links off to other pages. One issue that I have found with my homepage is that, depending on the device used, text is positioned differently. For example, on a desktop, there are points where the film's title is covering the lower half of the actor's face. Although this would typically be seen as unconventional, it is something that I had seen be used on the Insidious: The Last Key website. This website's format was very similar to mine in terms of the layout. The backgrounds were both silent videos, with the score from the trailer being played over the top. Therefore, this text positioning is somewhat conventional, as mainstream films have done this also. However, when the website is viewed on a laptop, the film's title is much lower and hardly any of the faces are covered at all. This is a more typical place to have the text positioned, however it just depends on the device that is used. My homepage is also conventional because of its use of multimedia. It is typical for a homepage to make use of multimedia because of how it captivates the audience and relates to the terrifying nature of the trailer. The way in which I have used various media is by having a silent black and white video playing in the background. This was captivating for the audience because it shows a combination of clips from the trailer, but also clips that Tasha and I did not end up using. This is conventional to include on the website because of how it gives the audience a sense of exclusivity. An example of a horror page that does this is the Insidious: The Last Key page. There was also music playing in the background of the homepage. The audio that I decided to use for this was the same as the score that is used in the trailer. This is conventional because it will allow the audience to make the connection between the trailer and the website, making them more familiar with the campaign. It creates a terrifying atmosphere and immerses the audience into the narrative. An existing webpage which does this is the Sinister page. I also included animation on my homepage. The way in which I did this was by having some reviews of the film appear one by one. I was influenced by the Babadook's website because of the way that when you scroll down the page, different things appear and relate to the storyline. I also included pictures that change from black and white to in colour when you hover over them. This is conventional because it means that the audience are aware of their presence and know that they are hyperlinked to another page. A similar feature is used on the Sinister homepage to draw attention to the motion poster feature. The use of multimedia allows the audience to watch the trailer and further engage with the film, familiarising with the information to do with it. My navigation bar at the top of my homepage is conventional because it makes getting to different parts of the website easy and accessible for the user. The ease of use is conventional because the audience will be used to this layout and will quickly be able to navigate around the site. The tabs that I have open on the navigation bar are Home, Book Now, Character Profiles, Synopsis, Trailer and Gallery. These are all conventional tabs because they mean that the audience are able to get a deeper understanding of when and where the film can be seen. This will build up hype around its release. The Book Now page is especially conventional because it encourages users to purchase tickets to see the film when it is released. The way in which my booking page is laid out is influenced by the page used on the Babadook website. This is because of the way the map is on screen showing the users nearby cinemas. Having a system that makes booking simple will persuade people to do so because of how they don't have to put in too much effort. Another thing that is conventional for a homepage is to have links to social media. All of the websites that I looked at contained this. This is conventional because of how it allows the audience to share their experience of the website with others and will contribute to below-the-line advertising. This will lead to a more successful campaign because it means that more people are likely to hear about the film as the target audience share it on social media with like-minded people. Social media would help to promote the film because of how people who share similar interests are able to see the feeds of their friends. These posts can be seen from anywhere around the world and so will generate hype on an international scale. This is more important for a previously unknown film company because it allows a reputation and a fan base to be built. As this method of advertising is free, it means that the small company does not have to use their budget to fund it. The camera work that Tasha and I used in our trailer is conventional. This is because when carrying out research, we found that it's conventional for the opening of the trailer to display an establishing shot to allow the audience to gain an understanding of the location. We have done this through the use of an establishing shot of the forest to make sure the audience understand the location of the film. This is then followed by a long shot of the characters. These are conventional because it means the audience are able to get an idea of the location and the relationships between characters. Another conventional shot type is the use of close-ups. These are often used to allow the audience to see the drained facial expressions and makeup of victims, but also to intensify the situation that the characters are in. Close-ups are typically used towards the end of the trailer as they help to build up tension and anxiety. We used this in the last 30 seconds of our trailer, where we had close-ups of all our characters in distressed states. We are able to see the dark circles under their eyes and the pain and torment that they are going through. Medium shots are also conventional in horror film trailers. This is because they allow the audience to see the level of control that the villain has over the victim and to subtly include horror. An example of where Tasha and I used this in our trailer was when we put a medium shot of Sylvia in her bathroom. We paired this with a focus pull to reveal Chelsea's ghost stood behind her. This was effective because it built up a sense of anxiety and foreboding for the audience. We also made use of tracking and tilts in our trailer. Tilts are conventional because they slowly reveal information about a character or an object to the audience. An example of where we have done this is when Sylvia hears a knock at the door and looks down to see a suspicious-looking parcel. This is effective because it creates an enigma for the audience, making them wonder what is in the box and who put it there. The editing in our trailer is also conventional. When analysing existing films, I found that editing is split into thirds. The first third typically has shots that stay on screen for 2 to 2.5 seconds each before they are replaced by a new one. There are typically transitions between them, such as fade to black transitions. This was something that Tasha and I used in our trailer because it emphasises the state of equilibrium and allows the audience to gain an understanding of the characters and their personalities. In the second third of horror trailers, the pace of the cuts is decreasing, but varies. Some trailers will have short bursts of horror which remain on screen for around 0.5 seconds, but then this can increase back to around 1.5 seconds when the situation is calmer again. This was something that Tasha and I incorporated into our trailer because it helps to gradually increase tension. An example of this is when Sylvia is in her bathroom and discovers the necklace in the bath. The shots remain on screen for 0.7 to 1.8 seconds each to help gradually increase the tension. At the very end of the trailer, shots are on screen for tenths of seconds. This is conventional because the horror in the trailer is at its peak, and as the shots are taken from different points in the film, it will disorientate the audience. Examples of this in our trailer is an extreme close-up of Chelsea drowning, which is on screen for 0.4 seconds. This is then followed by Ross being dragged across the floor. We also included a fade from black title screen at the very end of our trailer to allow the audience to see all of the relevant details of the film, such as the release date, title, and social media links. This is conventional because it means that the audience are likely to remember the campaign, and seeing glimpses of action intrigues the audience and makes them want to see the rest. The sounds that Tasha and I used in our trailer are very conventional. We used a mixture of uncomfortable sound effects and eerie scores. When the trailer begins, a disturbing high-pitched score is used.
Stop moaning.
This is very slow-paced, indicating the state of equilibrium. There is a deep echoing bang that is synchronous with fade to blacks that are used in the opening of the trailer. This is conventional because it allows the audience to see that the current environment is neutral and calm, however it foreshadows later events in the film. As the trailer progresses, the sound effects that are used become more intense and more frequent. For example, in our trailer, Sylvia's in her bathroom, and the score is a deep, mysterious, orchestral score. However, we have layered some discordant, fast violins over the top. This mirrors the fear and dread that is being felt by Sylvia when the necklace comes on screen. We also used a sting of unpleasant piano notes. A sting used in sync with the shot appearing on screen is conventional because it stuns the audience. Towards the end of a trailer, it is conventional to have multiple sound effects layered over each other. This adds to the disorientating effect that a horror trailer should have on the audience and makes the viewer feel uncomfortable and afraid. An example of where Tasha and I have used this is after the close-up of Chelsea's face with a strobe effect. The volume of violins and some drums increases and speeds up as the trailer draws to a close. Tasha and I made use of props such as the Ouija board that Tasha made and the heart-shaped necklace in our trailer. Props are conventional because they create a sense of curiosity for the viewer and suggest that a character is planning on seeking revenge or harm on the victims. An example of where Tasha and I have used this is with the reoccurring use of the necklace. This made it apparent for the audience that the necklace has a significant role in the film and creates an enigma for them. They wonder just how powerful the necklace is. Houses are conventional settings for horror films. This is to make it seem more real for the audience as they are able to relate to the setting of the characters. Tasha and I used Sylvia's house as one of our main settings. This was because it is meant to be a location of safety and comfort, and it will cause fear for the audience because they are made aware of how easily it could be them in Sylvia's situation. When Chelsea is a ghost, her costume is a white dress. This is conventional because the connotations of white are innocence and vulnerability, juxtaposing the violent and malicious nature of a villain. This was effective in our film because it also connotes the supernatural, which is effective because it creates a clear contrast between the living and the dead. We also made use of makeup conventionally. An example of where we did this was with the character of Matt and having him cough up blood. This is conventional because it emphasises the harm that Chelsea is causing him and makes the audience question how much power she has. As well as this, the character of Sylvia wears very little makeup throughout the trailer, especially towards the end. This is conventional because it shows her psychological decline and how distressed and traumatised she is. Low-key lighting is also conventional in horror trailers. This is because it creates the impression that there are hidden secrets and creates a sense of unpredictability. An example of where we have done this is in Sylvia's bathroom. When Sylvia becomes aware of Chelsea's presence, the room becomes much darker. This is to suggest that Chelsea has power and wants to trap Sylvia. We also used a series of close-ups of each character towards the end of the trailer. This is conventional because it allows the audience to see the distress of each character and it shows the power that Chelsea possesses.